It's October the 18th, 2024. I am Metro Pearl, and it's time to get in the weeds. A happy Friday to you, a fantastic Friday, the best Friday you've ever had in your life, because Jeremy Lambert is here. And when Jeremy's here and I'm here, you know the best is yet to come. How you doing, Jeremy? Good morning.
I'm well. Is it going to be the best Friday ever? It's October 18th. It just feels like a normal Friday.
No, there's a lot going on. Come on. Roman Reigns will be on SmackDown. Get your ones up for the Tribal Chief.
That's
the
right.
other Tribal Chief will probably be on the show as well. And, there's a lot of news. And the news is good. Collision was taped last night. Battle of the Belt, singular, will be on after Collision. Looking forward to that. And Maple Leaf Pro has their debut shows this weekend as well. So check out the interview that Sean did with Scott D'Amore. That drops today after this show goes off the air. Plenty of notes over on Fightful Select, best $5 in the business. May as well get that out of the way early. And tell you all to leave a thumbs up on the video. With fireworks come the thumbs up, and with thumbs up come the fireworks. Do we have fireworks? Cue pyro and take pyro, go. And cue pyro and pyro. Cue pyro. Pyro, where are you? There you are. Pyro, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Cue the pyro and ballyhoo.
That's right. Spin around the arena while people are lit up and screaming, and the fireworks go off in the background. And of course, you can subscribe to the channel here at Fightful Overbooked, and you can donate a super chat any amount. Get your question or statement read on the air. Jeremy, there's no time to waste. We have to get into all the big news, including the big one from AEW Dynamite, Konosuke Takeshita versus Mascara Dorada. What a match that was.
Let me tell you a story right quick, Joel.
Please do.
Okay. So I'm scrolling on my timeline on Wednesday morning. I get up very early, and everything. So I'm just scrolling, looking for news as I always do, since I'm up, and I'm immediately when I'm up, after I fix my coffee, I'm basically working. I was scrolling on the timeline. I see this tweet. I believe it's from Connor Winters, right? Isn't that the person who sent out the tweet?
It's Connor. I don't know if it's Connor Winters, but sure.
Yeah, because I think the username's like Winter Weather or something. Winter's Weather.
Gotcha.
So anyway, I see this tweet and I see this graphic, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's a cool match. And the tweet is just like, oh, this is Takeshi's first title defense. This is awesome. And like the graphic looks very official. At least when Tom's Custom does it, he puts like October 69. So like, it's a joke type of thing. It had the arena info. It had everything. Very official graphic. So I see this. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting match. First thing I do is go to AEW socials, and I'm looking for it. And I'm like, oh, I don't see this anywhere. I go to AEW Twitter. I go to AEW Instagram. I go to AEW Tix. I'm checking all the socials. I'm like, I don't see this anywhere. You know what? Is this a thing? And then I click the replies, and the replies are like, haha, you got me, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, it was a joke. It was a good job. It was a really good job. Like, I give them full credit for this. Great job on that. I was like, he got me. He didn't get me because I didn't write an article, but like he got me to at least, look into it for a second or two there. And then during the day, I see the tweet from PW Insider. AEW International title defense added to Dynamite. And I'm like, oh no. And I click it and I see Takeshita against Mascara Dorada, and they did an article on it. And I'm like, oh no. And then I'm thinking, I actually thought like, maybe the AEW did announce this. Maybe they did announce this. And like, I just missed it. So I checked the socials again. I checked the match run down on Twitter and everything again. It's like, nope, not announced at all. And then I knew he just saw it. He saw this floating around on Twitter, and he decided to run with it. Did issue hours later a retraction of like, somebody says it to me, and I just posted it. And it's like, do we not have just any research in our minds anymore? Do we just run with the first thing we're sent on Twitter? Do we not check into these things at all? Like, isn't this the first thing they tell you if you were told something, if you were sent something, like to check this kind of stuff, to just make sure it is legit, it is on the up and up? Instead, you just get sent this graphic, and it's like, this graphic looks official. Let me go for it. Let me just run this article. No, Like, actually check the official accounts. Let that be a lesson for everybody. Was high key, not even low key. Not even low key. High key hilarious. They ran this without checking it, and then couldn't give Body Slam, our pals Cassidy Haynes at Body Slam, credit for Vikingo when they posted that like 2 weeks ago, that Vikingo is gonna face Speedball Bailey, which turned out to be true. Acted like this was some big breaking news that they had, some scoop that they had. It's like, yeah, this was announced at the tapings. It's just nobody reported on the tapings.
Because nobody had, like, I had a few things that I got from the taping. It was the Frankie Kazarian referee, which I made reference to. I told y'all he was going to be the special guest referee. And then the NXT stars who were going to be on the card, because they were not announced, but they were brought out. Like Sol Ruca was there, Wendy Chu was there. Brindley Reese had a match last night against Ash by Elegance. It looks like she's going to have a match maybe next week or the week after that. Whatever. The point is, like, we didn't have the full rundown of what happened at those tapings, but the Vikingo one was just egregious. You can't play off that wasn't already out there. It's so bad.
Yeah, them acting like the Vikingo thing was like, oh, look at this big. It's like, yeah, like literally, I saw this on the timeline over the weekend. And again, I know we didn't have full spoilers, but I knew it was coming. I had it pre-written yesterday. I had the Kazarian thing pre-written because I saw you made reference to it. I'm like, yeah, this is out there. You just gotta look a little bit. And look, I'm not above any of this. Like, I make mistakes too. I screw up some things. I try to look into everything as much as I can to make sure it's legit. And sometimes I don't know if I get necessarily fooled. I just might not always do it correctly. I'll say that.
But that's the difference. There's a difference between maybe missing a context clue or maybe a spelling error or just like a transcription, whatever, lost in translation. There's a difference between that and getting got by a fake graphic and running with it instead of doing and let me tell you, if you who watches the show and doesn't write for a publication or anything like that, if you want to know if it's true, especially with AEW, you have 4 accounts that you need to check. And that is Tony Khan, the official AEW Twitter, the AEW on TV Twitter, and AEW's Instagram account. And I can guarantee you that between those 4, you're going to get the right answer. If it's there, it's happening. If it's not, they either haven't announced it yet or it's not happening. And if they haven't announced it yet, you probably don't want to run with it based on this one graphic that this one dude had that nobody else has posted anywhere as an official. It was just very funny. It was very funny. And it was a little sad because, I was about to say when you said, why don't people check these things? I was going to say, blame Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby ruined it for everyone. Told us if you're not first, you're last. And now everyone wants to be first so that they're not last.
I hate being first. I don't want to be first at any of this. I want to be timely. I don't want to be first. I want to be timely.
Oh, yes. This is also a good point. Vargov points out TK's TikTok also very good to check out for any legitimate AEW news. And what we're talking about, just for anyone who's just joining us because it's early, we're talking about the Takeshita versus Mascara Dorada graphic that went around before Dynamite aired on Wednesday that a couple of wrestling sites ran with, and it wasn't a real match that was happening. So we're talking a little bit about that.
That's the lesson. Be timely, folks. You don't got to be first. If you got to show up at 10 o'clock and you show up at 9:55, great. But if you're at 10, if you're right on the dot of 10, good. You're timely. You're there when you're supposed to be. Don't be an hour late. Then it's like, all right, well, what are you doing over here? Don't be an hour late on things, but just be timely. If it's correct, obviously, like if you're an hour late and you're looking into it and you want to make sure the story's correct, like be timely if it's correct. If there's a title change, the title change chance. Don't be an hour late posting a story if a title changed, but be timely. You don't got to be the first person to post that the title changed, but you also don't want to be like an hour late on that.
There is definitely a time to this game, and you've done much more of this in terms of the posting than I have. In my eyes, it also depends on the website or the publication that you work for. The timeliness sometimes isn't as important as posting when your readers tend to find your content, or you're not a website that's on top of the news, but you're one that relies heavily on the SEO and you'll never guess who won this AEW championship at AEW Dynamite from from San Jose. There are websites that do that, and whatever. That's their bread and butter, and they're not news breakers or news makers. They are news reporters, and that's okay too. So, yeah, just it's got to be timely and it's got to work for whatever you're working for.
Look at Kim Gray. She's a big movie star.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at this movie star sending super chats that aren't popping up on my screen. What's going on here? Why aren't you working?
Can I do it?
You can. I don't know why I can't click it. My mouse isn't dead. Anyway, Kim Gray sent a super chat. Thank you, saying, "Oh, you mentioned Ricky Bobby. I was at Talladega the year it was filmed, so I'm an unpaid, uncredited extra in the movie. That's amazing. Have you taken a screenshot and have you pointed yourself out? Because I would like to see that."
Yeah, you got to do that.
Yeah, big movie star Kim Gray. I want to see this.
I like doing that. This is a big thing with like wrestling events. I was at the Kurt Angle Brock Lesnar Iron Man match, and like there's a very clean shot. Clean as in, as clean as you're gonna get in like 2002, whenever this match was, of me like walking down the aisle, and you can see me about to go to my seat to watch this match.
Amazing. Get the pictures. If you have those pictures, we got to see those pictures. Big movie star Kim Gray in our chat.
Yeah.
You can have your Andrew Zarians. You can have your Sean Ross Sapps. We have a real life movie star in our midst. I love it. Oh, should we talk?
Hasn't Zarian done movie work?
We don't talk about those movies he's done.
Oh, fair. He's gonna start Mac and Me.
I was gonna say there's a reason why we invited him to do Mac and Me. Extensive experience in those worlds. Good for him. No, where it's gonna turn out so bad when people start alleging Andrew Zarian as a.
He may or may not be time cock. We don't know.
True. That's true. You're right. Mac and Me hasn't come out yet. It's still very much in.
Yeah.
It is not out.
Pull-out game weak for Mac and Me.
We need a few more.
Mac is still in me. All right.
Yeah, just shouting to come out. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Where shall we begin with AEW talk, or do you want to go from the outside looking in for AEW?
I don't know if I am going to Fright Night Dynamite. That's a good question.
Are you scared of the spooky grind?
The thing is like, what's hilarious about like, if I don't go, I do more work if I don't go. Like if I go, that's actually me running from the grind, because like I go and I have a good time. If I don't go, I just sit at home and work. So I'd much rather go so I don't work, because if I'm here, I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to end up working.
So I went on AEW's website just now, and I see this, and I have to, this is something we've talked about a lot. The promotional photo for the Fright Night Dynamite now features Shelton Benjamin and Swerve between Jon Moxley.
Good.
Those are three names that I can 2 out of 3 are already guaranteed to be there. That's a big leg up, and I give credit where it's due. As long as that continues to happen, especially if you have matches coming up. Let me see. Are Jericho and Briscoe on the other one? No. Okay, not yet. But my point being, seeing that is good, because you know that Shelton Benjamin and Swerve match is happening in Cleveland at that Fright Night Dynamite. I'm glad that they put them on the promotional material. That's a good start.
Jericho's on the promotional material for Collision next week.
Jericho's always there. But like, what about this Battle of the Belts? That's fair. Let's look at this Battle of the Belts for a minute. Okay.
Why?
It was Battle of the Belts and Collision. Sorry, were taped last night in Stockton. Allegedly. FTR. Okay. Darby, they were there. Darby is not there. He is not.
Darby's building skate parks.
I know. Tony Hawk couldn't make it. We'll talk about that in a minute. Chris Statlander is on. She's there. Who's that? Is that? Oh, is that Mariah May? No. Sorry, no. Blonde women wearing black tights.
Wow.
It looks like Harley Cameron, but Harley Cameron usually wears a different thing. Is that Mariah May?
I don't think it's Mariah May.
Who is that?
Maybe it is Mariah May.
I think it's Mariah May. She's just not holding her title.
Yeah, there's no title. That's what maybe throws it off.
Yeah. Christian Cage. He's. I don't think he's on either show. On
maybe
Saturday.
Maybe not.
Willow is not. and Orange Cassidy is.
Yeah.
So, all right, certain
Says
things.
card subject to change, Joel.
Very much says that at the bottom of the image. It's the Darby thing. If your story right now is that you can't find Darby, and Darby is currently on the image for the 17th, 23rd, 26th, second.
It is Mariah May, by the way, because
Mariah
if you look at that photo and the graphic, and then scroll down and look at the Battle of the Belts graphic, what do you notice, Joel?
Mariah May. Oh, yeah. Okay, she's also on the Fright Night Dynamite.
She does this gimmick.
Yeah. She's yeah. If GYV grits their teeth, she bites her teeth. She bites.
She's biting her nail.
Is it a nail or a finger? Is that a sexy
Finger.
thing? Well, yeah, Mariah May does have a title eliminator match against Anna Jay, so there's that. Okay, well, listen, some of the stuff is working, but some of it.
Am I pulling that off as well as Mariah May?
It's not as sexy.
Wow.
You're a good-looking human being, but I don't think it's right just yet.
Okay, I'll try better.
You should try better.
Yeah.
Kim got some of these photos uploaded to Twitter, but it's not of her. These are photos of the actors. There's Sacha Baron Cohen, there's Will Ferrell, and there's John C. Reilly. But where are you, Kim, our movie star? Where are you in the movie? Anyway, Fright Night Dynamite sounds like it's going to be fun in 2 weeks. They're starting to build that card. We should talk about Dynamite. I know you got a little bit into it with Jensen on the Spotlight yesterday morning. Go check that out over on this channel. But overall, what did you think of the way Dynamite kind of presented itself a couple days after Wrestle Dream? Was it impactful enough? Was it good enough? Is my question to you. Was it big enough?
Real question here. We'll talk about this again. Has the world title ever been defended on Battle of the Belts? I don't believe so.
I don't think so either. I will take a look. I'm sure you are as well.
No, I'm not looking up. I don't care that much.
Okay, well, you talk about the thing you want to talk about.
I don't believe the world title has ever been defended.
I feel like the ROH World Championship has.
Well, yeah, sure. So the AEW, it opened the way we kind of both said it would open. They did the cold open with Jon Moxley, which I thought was really good. He put the roster on notice. I'm tired of this singing, dancing bullshit. Here to crack heads. He's a crack addict, addicted to cracking skulls with hardcore static.
Great song, by the way.
And then Adam Cole, baby, comes out and just doesn't acknowledge any of this. So I thought overall, it was a good episode. The Moxley stuff made it feel different and bigger. I wish the wrestlers would have acknowledged that a little bit more. Like Adam Cole should have acknowledged it a bit more. And then you got FTR and the Outrunners coming out and they're doing, here's our cool handshake. And it's like, man, we just got murders going on right now. What are we doing this kind of stuff for? I thought commentary did a great job putting stuff over of like, we're under a hostile takeover. I thought commentary did really good. One note I thought of commentary that was good of, I said on Wednesdays, like, I don't know about Orange Cassidy, like kind of doing a match here. Obviously it played into the Moxley attack, so it made sense there. But I thought commentary really helped that by saying like, Orange Cassidy, he wanted to do this, even though everything that's going on. Meanwhile, Darby Allin, he can't be reached. I was like, oh, okay. Like that's a good little thing to throw in there of like why Darby isn't there and why Orange Cassidy wanted to do the match. So I thought commentary sold things really well throughout the night. I thought the wrestlers and the format could have done themselves more favors of selling things. So overall, I thought it was a good episode, though.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job of weaving in the Moxley story throughout the show, and I did appreciate that. I love Michael Frasnelli saying, I did pop because I missed the cold open and thought when it started with Adam Cole, like you said, you turn it off. And I messaged Jeremy and I'm like, it's hilarious that we were both right in that Moxley opens up the show, but it's not in the ring. And then they immediately go with, it's all about the boo. We're just like, all right, we're back to where we started.
I'm okay that Adam Cole opened it, but I thought like Adam Cole's got to just mention it.
Yeah.
Just say something because he was part of the group that came out at the end. Like I know it wasn't like show focused on in the final four, but he was there.
Yeah, he was the
Say
auxiliary
something.
group of baby faces. You're right. I think the onus was on the talent whenever they were put in front of a camera to say something about Danielson or something about how they feel about what happened with Moxley. And that's something that you mentioned as well, that the entire roster should be talking about what happened, because not only does it have to do with the AEW World Championship, but it also has to do with AEW as a whole. The whole idea is Moxley has taken issue with the way the company has become. And he said as much. He's like, guys with big contracts holding their junk in their hand. And like that's been something that's been talked about, through the rumor mill for a while. It's nothing that they haven't heard before. That there are some talent who are complacent. They're happy to come in, they're happy to get some money and not really worry about their spots. And Moxley's sitting here saying, I want more for you people. He's trying to play this role of benevolent dictator, but we're not at the dictatorial part. He's the world champion. We don't know what that means. We don't know where that title is. People are assuming it's in the briefcase that Pac was holding, but it's not like the trios champions are holding their trios titles with them as they do these attacks either. Not that they really need to. It's a belt. It's just it's a big gaudy piece of merchandise around your waist at that point. But the point being, they threaded things very well. I do wish that the wrestlers had kind of made some sort of reference to it more than when they were pressed on it. It should have been at the forefront of their mind. Danielson should have been at the forefront of a lot of people's mind, but it's also possible that they just wanted to kind of rush him out of the minds of most people. And I don't know if that's a good or bad idea, because listen, a lot of what's next for Danielson has to do with the prognosis on whatever he needs to get done to get healthy. Because clearly before he left, he said he's got to get checked out. He's got to get his neck looked at. I know there's reporting in the Observer about that. I don't know what to believe or what not to believe, but regardless, with Danielson, it's going to come down to how long he's going to be out for before he comes back. He will come back, but I don't know if AEW wants you to think that it's anytime soon or what it could look like. And they also don't mention that Tony Khan I get that Tony doesn't want to be a character on screen, but if you're going to tell me at the media scrum that Tony's not going to be at the scrum because he's going with Danielson to the hospital or whatever it was, then you kind of have to use some of that, in my opinion, to further the story. How does Tony feel about what's going on with his company? That these people have taken his world title and we don't know where it is. We don't know where it could be. And now Moxley's running roughshod with his people, beating up talent, doing unspeakable things to them, whether that's a plastic bag or a belt around the neck or beating them up outside, letting little men with big beards chase a truck down the interstate, whatever. That's dangerous. Allegedly, John Silver did catch the truck, so good for him. My point being,
he beat all their asses too.
He did beat all their asses too. So maybe once TK caught wind of that, he's like, all right, we're good. But I do wish that they have some sort of statement either from TK or from someone representing him, because I know Tony's whole thing is not being an on-air character, and I understand why. So just some sort of weaving into where Tony sits on this. Send Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk should be the new surrogate for Tony Khan and for Darby Allin. And I love that they threw that video, by the way, where it's like, and now this exclusive with Darby Allin and Tony Hawk. And Darby Allin's like, Tony couldn't be here today. He had to go play with his grandkids. So
good on him. Good on him.
That's boundary setting. But either way, I'm curious about where this is going. I like that they didn't give too much, but they gave you enough to at least keep you wondering.
I think that Tony Khan has to do something to reference all of this. And it will probably be Christopher Daniels. Christopher Daniels got enough time to break up a fight between Anna Jay and Mariah May. Why isn't he more worried about the people taking over the show than there's a little backstage scuffle between Anna Jay and Mariah May? But you've introduced Tony Khan as a television character more than just hey, I make announcements. You've introduced him as an authority figure who got his ass beat by the Elite and got put into a neck brace by the Elite. And then you introduced Christopher Daniels as a proxy authority figure who still apparently has some type of power. I don't know. So you've gotta reference that. Christopher Daniels has gotta say something about that. I did like the Elite basically being like, this ain't none of our business here. I did like that portion of it. I thought that was good, and I think it'll play into more later on. I've seen some interesting theories out there of, are the Elite working with Blackpool? I don't know about that. Is the Elite going to turn babyface out of all this? Don't know about that either, because I think Kenny's going to kind of be a conquering hero in part of this. Is Jack Perry the guy? Jack Perry is actually upset at the Elite for giving up in blood and guts when he wouldn't want to do that. So Moxley said to Jack Perry, like, I don't care what anybody says, you're a sweet kid. Is Jack Perry going to be the big heel out of this? Like, is he going to be the higher power out of this? At least he capitalized on some stuff that you've sort of kind of been simmering for a little while. There's ways they can go in this, and I thought they did some good work on Wednesday. There's still more work to do. So I'm not going to completely dismiss like, is it working at all? Like, it's way too early to know if this is working. I actually saw a headline on a podcast of like, is Jon Moxley's takeover already a failure? Like, it's one fucking week. What do you mean is it already a failure?
Remember when the NWO was 1 week and that was enough and WCW just rode off into the sunset? Remember that? And I make the allusion to the NWO because enough people have started, making comments that it's the Mox World Order, in that they're coming in, they're taking out the AEW talent. They're a separate kind of entity unto themselves. They want to take over and recreate the wrestling company in their vision. There are certain things from the New World Order, the NWO story, the original one, I'm talking like the 96 story, that you can take from pieces and bring it into whatever this story is. The hostile takeover, which I know the Elite tried, I feel like this is a grungier version of it. Going back to your Jack Perry comments,
much better version.
It could be. We'll see. As long as they don't add 50,000 people, all of Moxley's friends. I don't think Mox has friends. He's just going to get his wife and just be like, I like you. Why don't you come?
So here's real quickly.
Sure.
What was way more egregious to me than this Adam Cole opening promo, not referencing anything, is they followed that up with this backstage with Chris Jericho. And so here's where maybe my brain is a little too critical of things. But they're like, this is Chris Jericho backstage at Wrestle Dream. Okay. When was Chris Jericho's match, Joel?
Second last.
Okay. So this interview was either recorded during Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley, or it was recorded after everything happened. Either way, why is Renee there doing this interview when either her husband's wrestling for the title or her husband just murdered a man? And why is I guess Chris Jericho is just like, haha, laugh it off. It's all fun and games, learning tree. Hi, guys. But like, we know Chris Jericho's match was second to last. You're telling me either this interview was recorded again during the match, which I couldn't hear the action, so I don't think it was during the match, or it was recorded after everything had happened, in which case I feel like Renee should have been playing a little bit more of, yeah, my husband just murdered a guy. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this interview. Maybe it's a little nitpick thing, but I think they've really not done a good job with the gravity of Renee selling things. I just don't think they've done a great job with that. Like, Moxley's out here being an absolute lunatic and killing people, and Renee's just like, anyway, I got Chris Jericho here. You lost. How does it feel to be a loser? Like, really? Like, we know the relationship's been acknowledged. So it's not a thing of like, they just don't acknowledge. They've already acknowledged it. That cat's out of the bag. So like, you gotta don't put Renee in this situation. That's my biggest thing. It's like, you got a million other backstage interviewers. I know Renee's the best, but don't put her in this situation.
Okay, first of all, audience at home, I want you to acknowledge that whenever you think I'm being too nitpicky, I want you to go back to this moment. Okay, first things first. However, second of all, I do agree with you. You could have done it with anyone else. You could have done it with Alicia Atout. You could have done it with Arkady Ori. You could have done it with Lexi Nair. You could have done it with what's his face, Alex Abraham. No, not Abraham. Come on, Stats Man. Come on, who's the stats guy?
Alex Marvez.
Marvez, yes,
Oh.
thank you. Could have done it with Alex Marvez. I was gonna use the yeah. I thought that was gonna get you to remember, but anyway, for those who forget the Will Ospreay and Marvez steal a car segments from Dynamite, now that's got me. There's a part of me that agrees with you. From that's a production Bible type of comment, which I appreciate. I want to talk about the Jack Perry comment that you made where Mox said, "You're a good kid." I think Moxley sees Jack Perry as doing business the right way in Mox's eyes because Jack Perry is underhanded and a piece of shit. And that's what Mox likes. And Jack Perry came back and made himself a star off of other issues, outside issues. Could have been buried, could have been gone, could have been over, but instead he picked himself up, dusted himself off. And again, this is all in the storyline way of things. Jack Perry made himself a star despite other efforts, especially because those other efforts included Mox having to save the company from one of the people that caused those issues, being CM Punk. So I think with Jack Perry, I think that was just a respect because of how you've conducted yourself. Mox saw that in a good way. I don't know if that's going to lead to Jack Perry ditching the Elite and joining BCC, but of all the people involved in the Elite circle, Jack Perry makes the most sense to go away from it because he's never been directly involved with it until the scapegoat stuff happened, until they brought him back. So for that, it could happen. I don't see it as much. The Jericho stuff.
When Jack Perry is revealed as the higher power, people are going to be pissed.
But are they going to be good pissed or not good pissed? Like, is it going to be a good beat, or is it going to be like, oh God, this guy? Like, what is the reaction to this guy?
I don't think they're going to be. I truthfully don't know how the core audience views Jack Perry. I just don't. Like, I personally think there's some good work that he's done, but I also think they haven't done enough with him in the follow-up since his return, because they basically tried to build a match that they can't build. They can't build CM Punk choking Jack Perry. Like, they can't do anything off of that. And they didn't go far enough in explaining like why this was a big deal and explaining why Jack Perry was the scapegoat for all this. They almost had it when he hit Tony Khan. They were there, and then they immediately dropped everything off of that. And they've tried to do little things since then, like Jack Perry getting set on fire and Jack Perry taking a chair shot to the head and not quitting and everything. But for every good thing they do of that, they're like, anyway, run away from Minoru Suzuki. And, oh, here's a match against Shibata. Like, it doesn't do anything for me when you do that kind of stuff. So like they don't go full bore with this push. So I just don't know how they feel. And you know, when he faced Danielson, people weren't happy about that. I thought it made some sense. Would I've done that as one of Danielson's last big matches, like full time on a pay-per-view? Probably not. But like, I thought it made sense the way they set it up. But a lot of people just weren't happy with that being like one of Danielson's last matches. Like, oh, why is Jack Perry doing this? The TNT title hasn't really felt like too much since he's gotten it. Like, he's beaten Darby. Remember that? Remember he beat Darby in the casket match? And then like it didn't matter because here comes Sting with a baseball bat, and then Darby just immediately climbs out of the coffin. Again, they've done like some good work, but then they've almost immediately undone the good work that they've done with him. So I think if he is revealed, I don't know if he's gonna be the higher power. But like if all of this is Jack Perry is the higher power, I feel like most people are going to be like, ooh, that sucks.
I bought off John Moxley with that sweet, sweet 90210 Riverdale money. Love you, Dad. Miss you.
That's where it's got to end, though, right? Day Perry is the higher power, and he announces all episodes of 90210 are now streaming on Max.
The day we spent 20 minutes on that ended up being an episode that people loved. Our show is so stupid.
There, I just rewarded all those viewers for paying attention to that episode. Bring it all back around. Maybe that's the higher power. John Moxley got all the episodes of 90210 on Max.
Could you imagine? John Moxley, big 90210 guy.
He might be. I feel like Renee's a 90210 girl. Like, she probably likes that show, right?
Can't go to sleep without watching an episode or two.
Let's message Renee and be like, what are your thoughts on 90210? Let's see if we can.
I think that's a very good idea. Yes.
Yeah, like, that's not the worst thing.
I think it's a pretty respectful question to ask.
Yeah.
Everyone has a favorite TV show they watch.
Hello, Renee Paquette. Are you a fan of 90210? There we go.
Or were you more of a Melrose Place kind of gal? She grew up in Canada, and we had both. So, I remember the Melrose Place on Fox commercials.
I've messaged Renee and to see if she's a fan of 90210.
They're on the. Are they still? No, they're back on the East Coast. They're back home now. So actually,
yeah, I don't know. Unless she was there last night, then she'd be on the West Coast still. Unless she's flying.
Wait, where did they? Oh no, they're back in Ohio.
They were in Stockton last night.
No, I know, but I was thinking about where they live, and they still live. Now they live in Ohio, because I was going to say, didn't they live in Vegas? But no, they moved to Ohio like years ago.
That's his Moxley. That's not Renee. That's his John Moxley impression. It does sound like Ross from Monsters Inc. That's a good shout.
That's a good point. Oh man, my Mox is loosely based on Matt McCarthy's Moxley. So there you go. You know Matt McCarthy, then you know. Shout out to the We Watch Wrestling podcast. This was again the one thing I really appreciate about the stuff with Moxley and the Mox World Order, or whatever you want to call them, the BCC, is that they're starting with low level talent, or at least low hanging fruit, and they're gonna beat them all. But I assume that the hope is that they're gonna build some of these talent for the future as well. Top Flight is Top Flight, but like Private Party, for example, they're still involved in this, and there's clearly some hopes of building them for the future. Dark Order are Day One AEW guys. Again, I like Uno. Go check out the interview that I did with him back in April for Mystery Wrestling. We talked about AEW as well, but like Dark Order are another team that they've been up there. They've never been to the top, but like during the Hangman feud, they played a pivotal role in bits and pieces of it. This is an opportunity to come around with them again and start doing something. And instead of making them comedy fodder, make them a more impressive trio. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if that's going to work, but at least you're featuring them on the show, which is something that a lot of talent can't say they're doing. So I like where they're starting. I know this is going to build. This has the opportunity to be months long story arc. And is every week going to hit? We've said this a million times. Not every week is going to hit. But if they hit some beats every week, you're probably going to see much more reward for this storyline. And I like where it's starting. It's a slow build. It's a low build. You got to get to full gear next. And that's still in 4 weeks. What are we doing? We don't know. But it sounds like they're starting to slowly lay that groundwork. Maybe Orange Cassidy's the first challenger.
A couple things off of this. Like starting with like Dark Order and Top Flight. I get it. Because you can't just immediately jump into, and we're going to just beat up the top guys. I mean, they are beating up the top guys, but you can't just beat them like one-on-one immediately. So beating up Top Flight, beating up Dark Order, I wish they didn't just spend like the last month literally on screen saying, hey, we're a bunch of losers and we've lost a bunch of matches. And coming out of this, I hope they actually start winning some stuff. Like, let this actually build into some wins for them. They're not going to beat Blackpool. There's the trios match on Saturday on Collision. It's Top Flight and Action Andretti. By the way, Action Andretti trying to do his dumb flip shit and Moxley just been pop. Oh, I laughed so hard at that cackle. When I saw Action Andretti run and do this, I'm like, if Moxley, like if he doesn't just get smacked, I'm gonna be pissed. And he got smacked, so I was very happy. So Top Flight's facing Blackpool for the trios titles on Saturday. One guess as to who wins this match, everybody. That's fine if Dark Order is going to lose. It's fine if Top Flight's going to lose. They should not continue to be losers out of this because you got other losers that you can beat. Sorry, Premier Athletes. Like, have Top Flight get some wins off of this. Have them actually show, oh, this did change a little bit. Because if they just lose and then they continue to go about just being like, oh, we're a bunch of big losers and nothing changes, like, what does that actually accomplish? I guess it proves the point of Blackpool. It's like, yeah, you guys were a bunch of losers. You know, it proved you guys right. Get the hell out of here. Like, they shouldn't be in the company anymore. In storyline terms, they shouldn't be in the company anymore. These losers keep losing, and then this didn't fix anything. They should get some wins coming out of this, even if they don't beat Blackpool. Second, and through 1 week, based on the spoilers, we're good on this. Again, not really spoiling anything. These guys got to show up to work Collision. They just have to. I can't have this show and AEW and Dynamite, they're all taking over and everything. And then all of a sudden, you know what? Collision, we're just not going to show up and things are just going to run as normal. Here's your iteration of conglomeration and rhymed right there, of conglomeration and Premier Athletes. Can't do that. Can't do that. Like, you got to have them as part of Collision, or at least give me an explanation of why they're not on Collision. But then if like they're barred from Saturdays, okay, well, let's just bar them from Wednesdays as well. That doesn't really do anything of like, oh, they're just barred from Collision. Like, you should probably, in that case, just bar them from the show altogether. Otherwise, they got to be on Collision. If they miss some weeks, fine, but give me an explanation as to why they're not there. John Moxley's going to Georgia and Texas or whatever the hell the football game of the week is.
Oh, I thought you were trying to say he's going to go give stump speeches in swing states.
But no, I don't think it's that, you know.
Not that Texas is a swing state.
No, he's going to college football night.
Right, as one does.
Yeah.
Chi-Town Spurs sent a super chat saying, oh, now it works for me. Tony has booked CM Punk as a face in a feud in a company he got fired from. I think it's the dumbest thing he's ever done. We've made reference to it. I mean, listen, I agree with it. I think they were hoping for more than it did. They popped a rating out of it. That's really what they did. Did they get Jack Perry over in the process? I think they got a few people more invested in the Jack Perry character from it. Not a ton. I go back to what I was talking about when we got to All Out, and I don't know if it was you or someone else I was talking about or talking to who said like, oh, it's going to be in Chicago. There's going to be so much heat on Jack Perry. And I'm like, I don't think so, because at this point, Punk's been gone for a year. People have moved on. Chicago's not going to be like, oh, we want our CM Punk, because you're going to see your CM Punk over in WWE or in NXT or whatever, anywhere else. I don't think there's much heat on Jack Perry in Chicago. And then he came out, and guess what? There wasn't much heat on Jack Perry in Chicago, other than the normal, I'm a heel. And that was it. And I said, like, this is a learning moment, that it's a teachable moment, that Jack Perry, they don't need to rely on the CM Punk story to make this work.
I think they could have made more out of that. I said it at the time when they aired the footage. I didn't have a full issue with it because I thought they explained it well. I thought they set it up well. But how are they going to follow it up? And they didn't really do a great job. New Japan followed up the best because he came out in Chicago that week against Shota and was completely, like, he got all the heat in that building, whether he was booed or whether he cheered. He did a great job playing into it. He did a great job playing to the crowd. I thought it was dumb that he showed respect to Shota afterward. That was stupid. But like, otherwise, I thought that was a good piece of business there. And when he returned to AEW, I thought him helping the Elite was smart. But then they didn't play it up enough. And with the stuff going with Chicago and All Out against Danielson, they could have done more. They could have referenced Punk. I know people would have been upset at that, but you've already brought him into it. It's part of the history. It's part of the story. You could have done something to put more heat on Jack Perry in Chicago by referencing CM Punk on the show going into the match with Bryan Danielson. But they only had like 2 weeks to build the thing, and the build was pretty lackluster for the 2 weeks. It was just hey, I'm going to answer this open challenge, and that's going to be that. And that was all. I don't know if they tried to overthink it of like, well, it's Chicago, it's Jack Perry, it's going to be fine. The problem is months passed between when they aired that footage. That was April, and when that match took place, that was September, and they didn't do a great job following up on the Jack Perry character in those months, because as I mentioned, half an hour ago or whatever, they did some good stuff, but then they undid a lot of that good stuff with a lack of follow-up.
So the elites are watching Blackpool and Mox beat down everybody, and they're a mix of scared and surprised. And then later on, they get confronted in the backstage by Daniel Garcia and Private Party. I like that Daniel Garcia is going immediately to Jack Perry and saying, I want TNT title.
Jack Perry should have snuffed Daniel Garcia. This little nose-to-nose shit, they should have hit him.
They should have kissed. But anyway, the point being in all this, the elite is going to be involved in some way. But how do you involve them knowing that these two stories and these two factions, while they're heels, but they are diametrically opposed. One is all about this chaos and this beating the shit out of everyone to make AEW in their image. And the other one is the elite, who are meta nonsense funny boys, just to put it plainly. You're going to wink and a nod, or you just got something in your eye there, buddy?
A wink and a nod.
They all working together, brother. The serious taking on the memes. Where do the Outrunners factor in with these meme boys?
I do think they cross by the elite continue to what they just did on Wednesday of like, it's in our business. We wash our hands of this. They're doing their own thing. Let them do that. Because if you're the elite, you are kind of okay. You are the EVPs. Unless they start screwing with you, I think it does make sense for the elite to just be like, not us. We got our titles. We're tag champs, Continental champ, TNT champ. We got power as the EVPs. We don't care if they beat up these guys we don't like either. Go for it. You wanna fight Daniel Garcia? You wanna fight Private Party, Orange Cassidy, all these guys? We don't really like them either. Yeah, go for it. Like, I think it makes sense for the elite characters to actually do this. Now, what happens if they go after the elite? What happens if they go after somebody that the elite actually do like? Does somebody step to Okada? There's still kind of unfinished business between Claudio and Okada. Whether or not they circle back around to that remains to be seen, but there could be some unfinished business there. But I think it makes sense right now for the elite to just kind of not do anything with that. And honestly, let the Blackpool Combat Club do some of the dirty work that the elite clearly, at least in the story, the takeover terms, didn't really want to do throughout after they attacked Tony Khan and all of this stuff. Like, I think they played that perfectly with the elite, because I wondered how they were gonna fit into it. And would they, because theoretically they should be like, they're EVPs, they have power, they have control, but they're also heels. They're also smarmy little dipshit heels who back away a lot of times. Not Jack Perry, but the other guys do. Okada just says bitch, and the Jacksons quit for Perry in Blood and Guts. So them just washing their hands of it until they get involved in their business, not anything about it. And I did like Daniel Garcia and Private Party being like, you guys are EVPs. This is how you're running things. It's like, well, yeah, this is how they've been running things. This is what they told you they've been doing. They care about their friends. They're giving title shots to their friends. They don't care about you guys. So I thought it made a lot of sense.
Yeah. The more we talk about it, the more we think through it. Jack Perry leaving the elites and siding with Blackpool seems to make sense. But you also, and then again, with Daniel Garcia going out to the TNT title, you may as well put it on, you may keep it on the guy who then defects, leave the L out. He defects to BCC, does Jack Perry. And then you've got Garcia going after another member of BCC who took out Danielson, and therefore Daniel Garcia is still being on the right side of history, being on the babyface side of going after Mox and his crew. Jack Perry being a part of that crew, it adds to the story more than it takes away, because the elite, they just kind of slinker away. They don't do anything. They should be just those meta dickheads. Okada is gonna be the only belt defended on Battle of the Belts. Okada is Kazuchika Okada has a match on the Saturday throwaway show, the quarterly Saturday throwaway show. Some people are gonna lose their absolute minds out of this, but I kind of take it as, listen, Okada's the character he's playing right now. He's having a ball. He's entertaining. Yeah, there'll be time for him to turn on the jets and do what he does. But for now, it's fine. It's okay. I'd rather he stick to what he's doing than completely overhaul the elites for them to turn babyface. That would make no sense to me. You still have the Kenny Omega story that you have to tell out of this. And I'd rather them wait for the Kenny story and just let the elite do whatever meta BS they do with the tag titles than have them work with BCC, who are an entirely different presentation.
The Kenny story and how that plays into this is going to be, I don't want to say game changing, but it's going to be a big deal. Obviously, Kenny's return is a big deal. It's not like Austin, whose side is he on? Like, remember when Austin came out and he stunned everybody from the Alliance and turned and saved.
We need the old Stone Cold.
Could you imagine Kenny just comes back, starts V-triggering all these motherfuckers? That'd be sweet.
So what's funny,
rule.
There was someone in the comments from the Spotlight last night who made reference to doing that with Hangman, where you have Tony Khan visiting Hangman in various establishments and telling him, I want the old Hangman back. And you're going to take out the BCC and you're going to be, because you were the guy, you are the guy, screw the elite. They don't love you. If you're this cowboy, go save AEW. You were the face. You were the first contender for the AEW World Championship. Is there a story there? Yes. Do you have to do a little bit of pulling to get there? Yes. But it's not a bad idea.
I think Kenny can kind of play that role. You don't need to do exactly like McMahon finding Austin in the bar, or like Tony Khan and Tony Khan and Hangman over there. Like, I do like that, or I do think there's potential with Kenny Omega being that guy. Obviously, he's going to be involved with the elite stuff. We know that. But he should be involved with the Blackpool stuff as well, because if I'm Kenny Omega and I'm sitting back watching all of this, I'm not happy with what Jon Moxley and his group are doing either. Like, I don't like any of these guys. I'm looking at the elite, and obviously they took him out and everything's like, this isn't what the company was about. I'm looking at Jon Moxley, and it's like, well, this isn't what the company was about either. So Kenny Omega kind of returning and being the savior of all this makes a whole lot of sense to me if he can fill that role, and how they're going to thread him into this. Because I don't think it can be just Kenny Omega coming back and then him just, again, don't acknowledge the Blackpool stuff. Just only, I'm just going to deal with the elite. Like, it feels like the character of Kenny Omega should be upset at all of this, every single bit of it.
But Kenny's also a meme asshole himself. That's the problem. It's like the presentation,
and that's where like I hesitated on kind of calling it a game changer type thing, because it can be for this. It's just where does Kenny want to fit into all of this, and is he gonna be that guy? You mentioned Hangman. Like, I think he plays that character a little bit better than Kenny Omega does. I'm not saying Kenny Omega can't, especially given that it's going to be about a year since he's been gone. I think Kenny Omega can play that character, but a guy like Hangman, or a guy like even Swerve, is somebody who is probably playing that character a little bit better.
Yeah. I'm now torn between, does Kenny make sense to be the one of the saviors? Is it Hangman? Do you turn Hangman babyface? Like, what becomes the story? Because I know people say, what is the story? And then they take it the wrong way. What becomes the story? What are the beats that lead us to the eventual downfall of Moxley? Because clearly this is, you getting as much heat as you can on this group and making them the most dastardly evil people in the business. Not even in AEW, but in the entire wrestling industry. Do you expand this beyond AEW? Do you have them show up at, say, a New Japan show, like when they do Fighting Spirit, when they're in the US? Do you have them show up and take over these shows? Moxley is very, very well acquainted with the New Japan audience. He's a former IWGP World Champion. There's an opportunity there. Does he come into other places? Does he show up at Bloodsport and wreck that show? Bloodsport is the night after Full Gear this year. I think it's a great opportunity to take that group and have them show up and just tear up Bloodsport and let Josh Barnett be really pissed about it and do something for the next show. Like, does it bleed into other companies? Should it, could it, would it? I like the idea of doing it, but you also have to make it so important that it's AEW first, the wrestling world second, because this is an AEW story to start, but you can expand it elsewhere, and I think it'd be really fun.
I like that idea of going to Bloodsport, of going to New Japan. You know, right now it is very focused on AEW,
which it should be, by the way.
Yes, yeah, but I don't have an issue. And this is a way you can maybe recruit without recruiting as well. Because Shota is a guy who obviously has the ties with Moxley. Bloodsport, pick a name. You can throw in ties with Moxley. Maybe they don't have to be on AEW television. I don't want them to water it down, though, and then you get to the BCCB team or whatever it might be out
BCC
there.
Japan.
Like we don't need that or anything. But I do think it could help build the story in AEW and show that, yeah, this is a bigger idea than just AEW. Like, John Moxley is just not happy with anything. New Japan needs, like, New Japan has done a really good job. I mentioned this yesterday, but like they're doing a good job retooling and starting to lift that next generation. This can help spark something going into that, because I think New Japan makes a lot more sense than Bloodsport. Not to, obviously Moxley has the ties with Bloodsport, but New Japan AEW got shows coming up. You know, every time New Japan runs in the US, there's typically AEW talent on that show. They got Wrestle Dynasty coming up in January. That's a joint show between them. So Moxley doing stuff with New Japan makes some sense, because at least then you can cross that over and you can get matches out of it. Whereas Bloodsport, you're probably not putting Bloodsport matches on an AEW show.
Although that would be funny.
That'd be great. I think a rule.
I mean, I feel like Marina Shafir is going to be involved in Bloodsport this year. I feel like if Mox wants to, he'll be involved this year as well. I'd rather they don't announce them and instead just have them show up.
Oh, yeah. Don't announce them at all. Just, they get bored on a Saturday or a Sunday and they just come out there.
All right, let's go beat up some jerks. Yeah. Let's go beat up MVP instead. No, none of this Josh Barnett MVP bullshit.
Well, I am curious of, again, this is where the overarching type of thing, like, it's got to feel connected at some point. MVP and his group and Swerve, they got to feel connected to this, even if it's just a line or two. I'm not saying like Swerve should not cower to this group or anything, but Swerve should make some type of reference of, yeah, this guy's like holding this title hostage, this title that I won, that I uplifted, that, you know, I helped save in some regards, that meant so much to me. This guy now just holds his hostage and thinks he's going to take over this entire company. Like, I'm not exactly cool with that. MVP, again, even if it's just a little reference of, they do business their way, we do business our way. Maybe our business will cross. Right now, we're going to continue to conduct business our way. That's it. 2 lines, and I'm fine with that. But I do think, like, it should be referenced in different promos and different segments.
So I largely agree with you on the Swerve stuff. MVP it's such an interesting situation that they found themselves in with whatever Hurt Syndicate's going to be. I'm sure you've noticed this, and this is a conversation maybe for the Grapsity guys. MVP is exclusively giving out his card to black talent. That's it. He waited until Billy Gunn left the scene to offer the Acclaimed the card. And there's something to that. And I don't know what the story is there. Obviously, MVP loves to uplift black talent, like, in and out of the ring. That's always been his thing. Do not get me wrong. But, like, I'm wondering what that builds to on the show. Clearly, he wants Hurt Syndicate to be like the strongest group of talent he can amass. It's just not lost on me that he's not out here offering the card to John Silver. He's giving
Well,
it
he's
to
already
Leo
in it.
Rush. That's true. He's already in a group, but he's giving it to Leo Rush after Leo Rush, has a good match against Shelton Benjamin. Actually, a great match with Shelton Benjamin, and loses. But he put up such a fight and had such a showing that he got the respect and he got the card. What does the card mean? I don't know if that's a respect or if that's a when you're ready to get serious, let's talk. And these people all get sucked into the MVP storyline. It's a very curious story that they're starting to play out.
I do think that MVP trying to do business with people, and then at the same token, you have Stokely kind of doing something similar of like when you're ready to get serious, you come join me. I can lead you to the promised land. It's like, I don't know if I'd be doing both of those at the same time type of thing. As far as like who he's handed out talent to, I think it makes sense that MVP is always kind of wanted to uplift Black talent. And so I think it makes sense. Like it makes sense with the Acclaimed, the people he's going after makes sense too, though. Like they would wait. He would wait until Billy Gunn is gone. He wouldn't give the card to Billy Gunn because then it's just like, well, now you're just the Acclaimed with us. He's going after people in some regards who already have management, and he thinks that they should be under better management. Mercedes is the kind of the iffy one where Mercedes is kind of her own, but then he looks at it as like, well, we could always use a CEO. What kind of business doesn't need a CEO? But the other people, Leo Rush, his, I guess, management in some ways is Layla Gray top flight. Like he's just paired with them. And he's like, yeah, I see something different for you. The Acclaimed, they already have management in Billy Gunn. He's like, I see something. I see you have better management. Swerve, his manager was Prince Nana. It's like, oh, I think I can offer you better management. That's kind of where he's targeting right there, more than the certain talent. And I do think we're going to get this Max Caster heel turn, by the way, long overdue.
Yeah,
for Caster Owens to actually split.
Yeah, let's ditch the rapping too. Shelton Benjamin and
bro, when Shelton Benjamin did this little leap up onto the apron kick and then took a back bump onto the outside, I'm like, he is just doing shit.
Yeah,
just bless. I love when people just go out there like, you know what? I'm just gonna do some shit.
Let's just do a knee lift onto the floor. We're good. It's cool. I was gonna say, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. You know what they have in common?
Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin?
Yeah.
They were both in WWE.
They're both bald.
Oh. You think this is where Scorpio comes?
I think this is where Scorpio comes in. Man, we're going to bring in Scorpio Sky. He's going to be the third man in the Hurt Syndicate. And he's going to get them onto the Scorpio system. It's going to be the Scorpio Syndicate. The Scorpio Sky Syndicate.
They send Scorpio to Saturdays to recruit over there since sometimes the Wednesday people don't work the Saturday.
I get it, brother.
I do want Scorpio just involved in something. We've worked ourselves into a shoot with the Scorpio business here.
When it happens,
Scorpio system.
It's going to be big. Scorpio's going to go to Saturday nights, Ricochet's new home, by the way, and he's going to try to get Scorpio on the Scorpio's going to try and get Ricochet on the Scorpio system. The Saturday Scorpio system syndicate, and Ricochet's just going to be like, "Why do you think I'm bald?" And that's it. And they're going to walk off, and that's going to be a match between those two. The blue group on AEW Collision C2 is going to be exclusively Scorpio Sky and Ricochet having matches against each other.
Need Scorpio and just handing out the system cards, telling people how to get their hair great again.
I'm all for it. It's going to happen. I think we put it together.
Why isn't hologram on Saturday's show?
That's a very good question, because AR Fox had to make an appearance. And also they didn't want they didn't want Ricochet to lose to hologram so quickly.
You got to have hologram. You just gave him a win on pay-per-view and it's like, anyway, he's not on TV this week. What are we doing here?
He went to Mexico to go fulfill the TV requirements.
I mean, maybe. As I read the spoilers and there's spoiler everybody. Hologram does not have a match on Saturday.
Oh, darn.
Ricochet has a match. Brian Cage is in the Don Callis family now. Cool.
So is Lance McArcher. Sorry, Drew McArcher. Drew McInarcher. You see this?
I mean, I saw his hair.
Lance Archer coming out looking like 2018 Drew McIntyre.
I like to think.
Hold on. People have made the memes. They called him Drew McIntyre.
I like to think that Lance listened to Euphoria. And when Kendrick goes, "What is it? The braids?" And Lance is like, "Maybe it is the braids.
It's time for a
the
change."
braids." And he needs to change it up. That's how I like to think.
He's talked about those braids extensively, and it's a very interesting story. But
I braided my beard like him once when it was much longer. Got over on social media.
I mean, if you haven't figured it out yet, those were extensions in Lance Archer's hair.
Really?
Yeah. Did you not know this for real? He had a hair
much.
person. He's like, I would go to this one
like
barber.
MJF.
No, this was someone who would weave it in properly and make it he was like, I had a hair person. They would get my hair right before I went for TV and did all these. He talks about this. I don't know if it's an unrestricted interview or another interview that he did with somebody, but he talks about this just extensively about his hair and the extensions he got in them. It's actually very enlightening, but yeah, very honest about it. So Lance Archer is now part of the Don Callis family tag team with Brian Cage. Brian Cage, an AEW champion, according to AEW PR's Twitter account. that got the 5 Ring of Honor people really upset.
AEW ROH, right?
I mean, eventually, maybe. What do we think of this? And also, we got to talk about this very important beat. Do you want to know why Kyle Fletcher turned on Will Ospreay, Jeremy?
Not really.
Well, too bad. He's not going to tell you. So this is the new Don Callis family. And of course, Konosuke Takeshita is the international champion. He's still part of this group too. So they're back to 5. And there's...
You want to see the worst photo in the world?
Always.
Okay, hold on.
The best part is when you offer up the worst of anything, because it's usually pretty bad. Sad McIntyre in the chat. Oh, poor
I
Lance.
apologize to every viewer watching right now. I apologize. If you are watching on YouTube and you are paying attention to the screen, usually you got to deal with these faces. Not the best looking faces.
Pretty bad already.
This is nightmare fuel photo right here. All right, everyone. I'm so sorry for this. This is a real thing that is happening, though. And if I see it, you guys got to be subjected to it. It's uploading now.
Oh, it's taking its time.
And it's so bad. It's like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you positive you want to do this?
Giving you pop-ups on... Oh, Jesus. What? No. All of this is awful. Oh my God. Why? For the audio listeners, that is... Oh God, I can't believe I'm about to use these names. Pierce Morgan, Maven, Jonathan Coachman, Bro, and fucking Charlie, whatever she goes by now. Murphy. No, I like Charlie Murphy. Who was that? Charlie Caruso, who is now Charlie Arnold.
This is a real thing.
That is the grifter.
This is a real thing.
Grifting 5 is what that was. That 6 or 5 of them. There's 5 of them. That was the grifting 5. That was awful. That hurt my soul. I liked Maven. Not anymore.
I was like, apologies, but like, if you're gonna involve yourself in this,
Ken Bruno, that's the worst War Games team I've ever seen. Oh God, the worst part is that one of those people is a former world champion, and you'll never guess which one. That sucks. Oh,
sorry, everyone. Sorry.
They can all suck a big fat one. Anyway, who cares what they were talking about? They weren't talking about anything interesting. That's for damn sure. It wasn't Maven telling you about how he gets tons of views.
Would you like to know the subject they're talking about? Why this group of people came together?
No.
As a sensational Netflix documentary casts doubt on Vince McMahon's legacy, Piers Morgan invites his biggest supporters and critics into the uncensored arena.
I'd rather watch a Univision town hall. This sucks. That sucks. And we talked about some stupid shit in the last little while.
Sorry, everyone. But if I had to see it, you had to see it.
It's either that or a podcast about 6 feet underground.
Oh, fucking hell.
That's the only one he's going to do, too. He's already canceled Shade Room. Anyway, WWE is going to do a behind the Netflix, or behind the scenes Netflix.
Behind the Netflix.
Behind the Netflix series. Behind the scenes series on Netflix. Nick Khan announced that at the University of Southern Florida Next Level Sports Conference. That came out last night during his speech. Is this... I'm curious about this. Mostly because, you know, we've seen a lot of behind the scenes style WWE stuff. Is this like 360, or is this going to be totally different? What are the topics? Is it about the wrestlers? Is it about the shows? Is it about both? Is it the lives of wrestlers at home, a la Total Divas, or like what does this look like? I know there aren't a lot of details. I saw it and I'm very curious about it.
Yeah, I mean there aren't a lot of details, so I'm curious as far as like if WWE is going to produce it and everything. They do really good documentaries. Let's be honest about things. Like the WWE 24, the WWE 365, any like dating back to the old VHS and DVDs and stuff. Like they do good documentaries. They're obviously going to have the WWE slant on things, and you just got to understand that, and you got to separate fact from fiction on that. But like overall, they're always well done. They always give you like some fine stories. The behind the scenes footage is cool to see. It's just how much are they really gonna give you on this kind of stuff? If it's behind the scenes of like how the show is run type of thing, or if it's like behind the scenes of, you know, they're filming another Cody documentary apparently. So behind the scenes of that, like the WrestleMania 40 documentary was, if you knew it, then it wasn't all that like great and everything. But like if you didn't really know, I thought it was well produced and well done. It just didn't present a whole lot of new information outside of everything was The Rock's idea, because he's got the what, Joel? He's got the what? The mana.
Oh, I thought you were gonna hit them with one of these.
Mana, the final boss. And here we go. This is how good. The final. God damn, that's good shit.
God damn, that's good shit.
Pops me every time when he does that.
I had to cue it up this time for a change because I didn't know where the hell it was.
So, like, they're always well done, though. So it just depends on what they want to do. To me, it's just further of we want to get WWE programming on Netflix. Any type of programming just aside from Raw, because it all works together. Hey, maybe someone will think the documentary is cool and now they'll watch Raw. And that's how it's all going to work. That was what they did with the F1 Drive Survive. I didn't watch that documentary, but I heard it was really good. And you know, I guess they do F1 stuff on there, but it's all just programming that works with each other. And so I'm sure they want to do this kind of stuff. Until we get more details, then there's not a whole lot to talk about. They're going to do some documentaries, which we already knew. Like Mark Shapiro already kind of talked about it. Nick Khan already kind of talked about it. So this wasn't like super new information that, hey, Netflix and WWE are going to do documentaries. It was just more of confirming what they kind of already been heavily speculating.
Yeah. So when they announced it, I was like, this looks good. This looks like something. I'm just as many curious about what kind of edge they take. What do they make it look like cinematically? Because all the ones that you've referenced in the past, they can make it. They can either make it look different, or they can make it look like they have other ones. So we'll see what they do. But it's nice. I like behind the scenes stuff. I just didn't watch the WrestleMania 40 documentary for obvious reasons.
Coward.
I can only hear It's Not My Fault so many times. I've watched an entire Snitsky run. I saw that happen.
Yeah, I was trying to do something else but I misclicked for a second. I apologize to all the people. There we go. Look at this.
Can you at least make it so that you're there? Can you make the same face as Coach?
I need to center myself better.
Yeah. Who are you trying to get behind? Maven?
Yeah, I'm trying to cut out Maven because he's like actually one of the good people. So I'm trying to make it me and all these.
Everyone here looks awful. Oh God, I kind of wish you went back to the cars now. What are we doing here? Ah, this is even worse. Why did you do this? Oh, you're gonna screenshot this, aren't you?
I can't screenshot it because like I can't like do it.
I got you.
I gotta keep
smile for the camera this time. There we go. Now I got you, buddy. Oh, did I ever get you good?
God.
This is awful. This is awful.
There we go. Let's get back to normal here.
No, it's fine. You stay like that. Stupid shit going. Should I send it to you or should I just?
I'll just post it. Whatever. Clearly, I don't care. Like,
oh, of course. Oh, where is this stupid thing that you posted?
I can't retweet it though because you have your account locked. So
that's fine. Just steal the photo and use it for your own game. That's so stupid. Oh God!
Cackle.
Y'all get to see how our viewership is today too. And it's climbing, so have fun with that.
Oh, Graze is I'll retweet Graze's comments.
Oh no, do I want to?
There, I just retweeted Graze. Shout out to Graze. Yeah, I've gone full grifter here. So aligning myself with these fucking. The smile is great too.
Oh God, this is.
Oh, amazing. I don't know. Maybe
he had an underground railroad to save.
Fuck.
Kill me. GCW returns to Hammerstein Ballroom.
Yeah, did you know their last show at Hammerstein sucked?
So I gotta say, I saw when they released that tweet with the promo video, and I love the like Brian Alvarez being the show sucked, and then they did the Solo Monster. The show wasn't very good, and then they get to our own Steven Jensen, and it's not even Jensen giving his opinion; it's him reading a super chat saying the show was mid. And I'm like, at least they didn't bury our people. Oh, they're gonna be back at Hammerstein January 19th. They're calling it the People versus GCW. Okay, so I'm assuming this is going to be on Triller instead of on traditional pay-per-view, which honestly is a huge it's a huge opportunity for GCW to basically not have to pander to a certain audience to get buys. This is good. I think it's a good thing that they're going back to Hammerstein without the expectation of having to perform on pay-per-view. I think they got a little bit out of hand with having to bring on stars for buy rates. And now
they got out of hand because they put Ruby Soho and Jeff Jarrett over their top talent.
There was that too. But I mean, they had to book a lot of these talent to boost the buy rates. And I'm sure a lot of conversation is going to come out of all that. Regardless, this is good for them. I'm excited for them to go back to Hammerstein. I'm excited and I'm not excited because for those who know, NYSAC, the New York State Athletic Commission, you can't bleed. NYSAC, not your SAC. NYSAC, right. New York State Athletic Commission. For those who know NYSAC, you can't bleed at these
Isaac?
events. Your sack. And also, anyone who's under 18 cannot perform on the card. That's what stopped Billy Starks and Nick Wayne from being able to.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, and that sucked. This year, they could
Narked
technically
on
be
Nick
there.
Wayne.
Donovan Nysack is very funny. So Nysack. Anyway, it's a good promo video. It's a good show. I'm looking forward to this. What did you think when you saw the promo video, other than how last year's show sucked?
It was like 2 years. It was like 2023 they ran this thing. Or 2022, actually. It's 2022. That's how long it's been.
You're right. We watched we did a live watch along from this. That was 2 years ago. My God.
It's been a while. So anyway. I thought it was a good promo video. I thought it was really good. And I don't mind that they were leaning into, hey, we know we didn't deliver on expectations. Because Brett said the same thing after the show was over. He said it just months after the show. He's like, yeah, I probably tried to do too much. I tried to please too many people, and it wasn't as good. I feel like I let a lot of people down. By the time the show comes back around, we'll be 3 years removed from it happening. It's okay to admit now, 2.5 years later, the show wasn't as good as we would hope it. What we're expecting. You know, it was a high expectation show, GCW Hammerstein, and it didn't hit. You know, there was stuff that out of their control, not out of their control, that made it not as good. Yeah, there's definitely going to be an issue with your sack that they can't do a lot of the stuff that the GCW fans want them to do. But you can mitigate that by still putting on really good matches and building towards the future. And I think they've tried to do that as recently as Art of War Games, Fight Club this past weekend, because we had Bully Ray there aligning with King of Deathmatch or Deathmatch Royalty, with Deathmatch Royalty, and you had Alley Catch turning on Effie, and then the next night you had Joey Janela being like, we got to restore the feeling. We got to bring this back. So if you're building towards Hammerstein and you're building towards essentially GCW originals against all these ex-WWE people who have come in here and tried to, make their name because GCW's been the hottest indie over the past years, and Team GCW wins. Let's make that very clear. You can't have JBL, Bully Ray, Cardona just squash and stack all of the GCW people.
Don't forget about Raj Deji.
Yes. Yeah, if they come in there and they win, then it doesn't look great. But if this is what you're building towards, I think that's good. That's long-term storytelling that they've been setting up for a lot of years now. And they took a big step in Janela's promo and what they did at Fight Club this past weekend. And now that this news has come out about Hammerstein, it does look like this is an end goal for that. That's my assumption. I don't know anything, but I think that would make a lot of sense.
Noticeably absent from the promotional material is, of course, Nick Gage. We know that there's, there are reasons as to why he hasn't been around, and we hope for the best for him. It was just something that I noticed. Nick wasn't part of the shoot, part of the promo, but we'll see if
he's wrestling in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's part of West Side Gun's new promotion, right? Yeah, I got an email about that. I know that Sean posted the promotion and what's going on, but when they announced that, I don't know. It's not up to me. I don't know what's going on with Nick. I don't know how he's doing, how he's feeling, but hopefully if he is going, he is good to go and not a problem. So we'll see. But he was just noticeably absent from the Hammerstein promo that they posted yesterday to GCW. And I like the idea of Janela leading the charge, as one of the guys going into Hammerstein. There's part of me that thought, maybe they'll do, instead of a team event, maybe there is a world title match that they could do. A Janela versus, let's say, Cardona recaptures the title before.
No, I think, Mance is the champion now. So you're talking about switching it a number of times, which, look, Cole's got the brass ring right now. Very possible Cole beats Mance. Cardona beats Cole.
Oh, that's heat too.
This is I wouldn't take the title immediately off of Cole. But it's got to be quick because we're talking about mid-January this show, and we're already mid-October, and so you only got about 2 months, 3 months to get this together. But yeah, Cole beats Mance, Cardona beats Cole, and then Janela beats Cardona at Hammerstein. Or do you just make Cole at Hammerstein? Like, no knock on Joey Janela, but Joey Janela doesn't need that. Janela's like, he's made in GCW. You can make Cole at Hammerstein.
So does Mance have a match for the title at Hammerstein?
And yeah, Cole and Mance.
Oh, you saying that Cole calls his shot instead of using the brass?
No, none of this cheap cash in bullshit. No, okay, make him.
Cole's made that way. Okay. I'm not against it at all. That's an idea. Listen, we love Cole. We would love to see the best for him. We also like Janela, but I do tend to agree with you. Janela doesn't necessarily need a world championship to cement what he's done.
I think you can do Janela and Cardona, and it doesn't need to be for a title. You just do Janela and Cardona.
Well, no, and my point was, if you're going to put a title on the line, Janela Cardona, but otherwise, what you're saying, if you do a Team GCW versus an Outsiders, you can easily get away with that as a 3-on-3. You also have to factor in the Alley Catch and Effie, the Bussy breakup. What's that like? When does that match?
Just a 1-on-1 match.
But is that at Hammerstein, or is Effie part of this 3 GCW team? Because everyone's come after Effie first.
Why are we doing a team GCW? I'm not doing any type of like team.
Oh, you would mention the idea of the GCW people going over the Outsiders.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be in one match. It can be in just multiple types of matches.
Oh, see, the people you mentioned are all like, they need a team behind them type of match.
Okay, Bully Ray,
JBL. Yeah.
Cardona doesn't.
Cardona doesn't, but Cardona leading a team of guys who would probably need it. That's why I'm saying a 6-man would probably work for that.
Just have violence is forever. Just kick the shit out of Bully Ray and JBL.
It's okay. Jables is about to add Kazarian to a stable, Tenny. So what does it matter?
Nick Nemeth shows up.
I mean, he might. I don't know if Nemeth is still going to be the champion of that, but he might not be. He may have dropped it by Hard to Kill.
If they got Gage back by then, honestly, just JBL cutting a shoot promo in Hammerstein, flanked by Bully Ray and Raj Desi. And then here comes Nick Gage, like old school New Jack, just coming down and laying them all out. That's it. I mean, they don't need to do a match.
They kind of did that the last time they were at Hammerstein with the who's going to be the partner, who's going to be Matt Tremont's partner, right? Was it Tremont's?
Yeah.
And then turned out to be Nick Gage for the tag titles.
Yeah, but this is different. It's
the surprise element. It's still the
WWE guys.
I know, but I'm saying that I'm talking about the surprise. It's Nick Gage element.
Yeah,
because Nick wasn't promoted for that first Hammerstein show.
Oh, he's way less promoted now. Yeah, everyone still kind of assumed Gage was going to be there. Now it's like we don't know anything.
Yeah, it could be. It's an interesting show. Listen, where GCW was going into that Hammerstein show 3 years ago versus where they are now, it's very different. But there could be a lot of heating up to get them to making this Hammerstein show special, and it's a different special. Again, they don't have to rely on a pay-per-view model to get what they need out of this. They're going to be on Triller. It's part of the Triller Plus. I assume this is going to be part of Triller Plus, and they won't have to pay extra to watch the show. If that's the case, and it's just a regular, GCW show in a special location, then great. There's so much more storytelling that they can work on instead of worrying about the buy rates. And that's good news for GCW.
Yeah, until JBL just stacks everybody and he's the tribal chief of GCW.
I'm such a fan of that. You have no idea.
JBL, Pause Hour Finishers got it. Pause Hour Finishers got it. What if we get Shano Mac in GCW, baby?
I now own GCW. Game Changer Wrestling is now Greenwich, Connecticut Wrestling.
That's actually good. That's really good.
He brings out the Mean Street Posse.
Oh, man. That'd be amazing.
Brett, I know you're watching.
Cardona's pitching this as we speak.
Guys, I just saw this great idea.
Cardona is 100% pitching this as we speak.
Oh my god, the Game Changer posse. Oh, we are such dorks, but I love it. That's perfect. We should do this. Oh. Then everyone can hawk their wares over on OnlyWrestlers.com. Are you going to join that?
Good. No, that sounds terrible. I mean, good on Rob Van Dam and Katie Forbes. Get that money.
Hey man, RVD has been at the forefront of a lot of stuff, like podcasting, video podcasting. RVD was at the forefront of that. He was doing it before a lot of people did it, and y'all should know that. The pot revolution, I'm pretty sure Rob Van Dam invented pot.
Weed?
I'm pretty sure he invented it. He did. Yeah, RVD's been he's been at a lot of the forefront of things, but because he's not the type of person to promote, things just kind of happen in RVD's orbit, and the people, a lot of things happen in his orbit, but he's not the promoter. He's got people who do it for him. So this Only Wrestlers gimmick that he and Katie Forbes are working on, it's going to have a very interesting rollout, and we'll see. It's different. It's basically just connecting wrestlers and fans in a different avenue, and hopefully the wrestlers make a little more money off of it, and hopefully the fans aren't weird about it.
Well,
I feel like when you attach only to something, it immediately makes people just think, oh, I can be weird here because I'm paying for it. It's not the case. Please don't do it. But it is what it is. Chat, are you going to subscribe to Only Wrestlers?
what do you get from Only Wrestlers?
Let's go to onlywrestlers.com.
Let's go to onlywrestlers.com.
I went there yesterday because
let's share the screen for everybody. Hold on.
I have to say immediately that the website is not very good looking.
Okay.
Like, it's very crude.
Where your voice matters and your voice counts.
Signing up is free. Vote on all things wrestling. Your voice matters.
What
Example:
does that even mean?
What wrestlers are on the card? Who wrestles who? What type of? So this is what?
That's a promotion?
I guess so. The Only Wrestlers Association.
Yeah, it says introducing the first ever fan-ran wrestling promotion.
Wow. There's a creator sign up. There's a fan sign up.
Yeah.
This looks like such an AI generated.
Violent J is there.
Yeah, I saw that. Of course he's going to be there.
Click here to find your favorite wrestlers. All right. Let me find my favorite wrestlers on here. Charlie Haas, my God.
We were just talking about him the other day. Mel Santos.
There's 8 pages worth of wrestlers.
Brian Cage, Sabu.
Cage.
Let's go to page 4. Okay, now we're getting into.
Hold on, don't spoil anything. I'm only on page 2.
Okay, I'm just saying you're not going to recognize a lot of these names.
I don't recognize people on page 2.
Okay, we get back into it for page 6.
The Cooker, Bob Cook.
Is that? No, it's not. It's not. Sorry. Okay. We're good.
What did you think it was going to be?
I'd tell you offline. I thought it was someone that should not be doing this. Jomo's on this, so John Morrison's on this.
Scotty Riggs.
Scotty Riggs is there. God bless.
Oh, there's somebody on page 5.
Hold on.
Look at my screen, Joel. Just look at the screen.
No, I can't see it. All people can see is the click here to find your wrestlers.
Oh, because it
open up a new tab.
Okay, sorry everybody.
Page 5. Greg Valentine.
Bam. Page 5.
It was.
Look at the screen, Joel.
Yeah, there she is. Renee Michelle's great. Who else?
Sorry, everybody. I didn't realize it opened a new tab.
Johnny LaCastro. That's good to see. Dominic D'Angelo. Hey, buddy.
What's Dominic D'Angelo doing on here?
He's probably one of the announcers for this gimmick. He should be doing the Riley Madison pose.
Dominic D'Angelo, dirt sheet writer.
There we go. Cheerleader Melissa's there. Gabby Tufts. It's good to see her. Who else is there?
What a friggin' cast of characters.
Yeah, this is impressive. There's Violent J. Fonzie, of course. Chris Masters. We've had him on our show. And there you go. And so there's 8 pages worth of people.
Definitely all people you want to follow and see in your wrestling promotion.
Yeah. You got free subscriptions for Rob Van Dam and Katie Forbes.
This is going to be just awful when people are like, let me see. Actually, you know what would rule? A Brian Cage versus Sabu match would rule until they're like, anyway, I want Sabu to go over after a triple jump moonsault through a flaming table. It's like, I don't know if Sabu should be doing this.
Okay, so Sabu's monthly subscription rate is $9.95. Charlie Haas is $20. Mel Santos is $20. Amazing Maria is $20. Brian Cage is a monthly subscription to Brian Cage is $100. What are we doing here?
Brian Cage better be giving me like all of his workout tips and like
there better be a lot of yummy penis on that.
Yeah.
Oh God.
$100 for Brian Cage?
That's gotta be an error. At $500 a year, so maybe not. Like, what are we doing? Some people are $10.
He posted one time 4 months ago. How is that possible? Has that been around that long?
Oh, you know why. Oh God. The Cooker Bob Cook is $6 a month. I don't get it. Violent J is $50 a month or
Fair.
$500 for a year.
Fair. Violent J should be. What's Fonzie? Fonzie's at 20.
Greg Valentine is $100 a month. So
Fair.
you're telling me Greg Valentine is on par with Brian Cage in terms of value here?
How much is the former TNA champion, world champion? $25 a month. Seems like a steal.
All right, sure. She likes to steal lots of stuff. Dominic D'Angelo is $5.95 a month, a yearly subscription of $29.99.
I bless Dominic D'Angelo. We love Dom. I can't imagine paying $6 a month for whatever content Dom's going to give you.
Unless it's some pretty hot content.
It looks good in this photo.
He does. He's been working out, wearing his.
Yeah, he's been working out. He's got the nips showing there.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. Gabby Tuft. It's $20.
What a website.
Scotty Riggs, $20.
How much for Riley Madison, whose picture is just her ass?
Good for her.
$15.
All right. Okay.
Just
Ashley
throw an
Walls,
ass in the photo.
$20.
Anyway, folks.
Nick Extreme is a free subscription. Go. I don't know. I don't know these people. I can't justify these people.
What a friggin' good luck.
Yeah, I'm gonna close this window.
Do you think I can write it off? Like, hey, Sean, can I write off a $500 a month subscription to Brian Cage's OnlyFans, OnlyWrestlers? Sorry, and get content out of it.
Well, we already write off the Undertaker one, so really, what's the difference here? Yeah, someone asking how much for Gabby. It's $20 a month for Gabby, which is like pretty much on par. Can we get Alabama Doink? Oh God, I don't think that's the thing. I don't want to do something dickish about this. Register as talent. Let's get Sean to register.
Anything. Oh gosh, could you imagine how much would Sean charge?
$5.
$5.
You got to keep the bit. $5 a month, and then of course everything that Sean would get would go towards a charity of his choice. So,
can we register as talent? I mean,
yeah. If you go to the registration, there's one for talent and one for creators. Sorry, one for creators and one for fans.
Oh,
yeah. If you go to, I checked that earlier.
Just sign up as a famous person.
Sign up as a creator. Sign up. It's free.
Who would have a sense of humor about this?
They get an 80% commission rate.
Jeez, no wonder Brian Cage charges $500 a month. He's like, well, I'm only making like $20 off of this, so never mind.
Yeah. You get to SIR and filter capabilities. That's search without the C. Crossover content. God damn it. Please, for the love of Christ, get an editor. Get
Oh,
someone.
maybe I could sign up as an editor for this.
You probably could, because I think you know how to spell
What does
the
it
word.
say?
First of all, do you know how to spell the word lightning?
No.
Well, neither does this person, so you're hired. Do you know how to spell the word between? I'll give you a hint. It's not two W's and an E, it's two E's and a W, the W going before. They've searched BETWWEN.
WW. Shouldn't like a basic spell check catch that, by the way?
No, I guess not, but they're doing it all caps. Maybe that's the problem.
RVD was just stoned as hell. Like, yeah, looks right to me.
I don't think he did it. Anyway, just the fan sign. Now I gotta look at the fan sign up too and wonder what they did. Private chat and videos of favorite wrestlers, admission to live chats, contest, title belt designs, t-shirt designs, and more. Earned by referring other users. This is a favorite. Okay, so this is spelled properly, I guess. The formatting's just dog shit. I'm sorry.
Do you think we could sign up as like a creator? And
I don't want to anymore.
No, but like again, like who would have a sense of humor? Pause our finisher says like David Arquette. Maybe he'd have a sense of humor. I was thinking like we sign up as like I don't know, RJ City. I think RJ City would find this funny.
I think if RJ actually did it himself, he would.
Tony Atlas.
Tony Atlas is gonna send me feet pics.
Nobody touch my pecker.
Jesus Christ. Oh God. I don't know who's gonna sign up for this thing beyond.
Sign up as SpongeBob and Patrick. That's a good shot, Louis. It'd be great.
I wonder how they're verifying some of these creators.
We can easily get verified.
I guess. Just sign up as Keanu Reeves.
If Dominic D'Angelo can sign up as a dirt sheet writer, so can I.
That's true. You also have a successful podcast.
Allegedly.
Not with a former WWE employee, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know someone I could get you for this, but I don't think you want to talk to her.
Yeah.
We'll see. Who knows? Oh, God. Well, that successfully killed some of our time today.
Everyone subscribe to OnlyWrestlers.
It's got growing pains. They just launched. I'm hoping it'll get better, but Jesus Christ.
Does it have growing pains?
Depends how much pain you want to be in. Jesus.
It's a promotion. That's the craziest thing to me. It's like
allegedly
book your fan, book the matches.
Allegedly, it's going to be a promotion.
Bro, let's get a rule when Scotty Riggs is just the champion of the promotion because people love the American males, rightfully so.
They should.
By the way,
Fonzie is suddenly the champ. It's going to be RVD. RVD is just going to win everything because it's like this is the only name I recognize.
Nah, people are gonna have like a sick sense of humor with stuff, and they're gonna
Shane McMahon runs the OWA.
Only wrestlers with Shane McMahon. Just amazing.
Oh no. D. Eddie's right.
Who? What? Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm not pulling up that 100%. Chat, but absolutely yes.
No, 100%. Oh, no. I'd be trying to book the dumbest shit on this card too.
and that's number one with the
that would definitely be one of them. Yeah, that would definitely be one of them.
CMLL's already making plans. Jeez.
I'd book RVD versus Scotty Riggs versus Jason Knight. Like, hell yeah, let's throw it back to old school ECW here.
That'd be amazing. God. Yeah, dude, I don't even know. But did you saw the
I didn't see shit crybaby.
I see shit crybaby. Okay, thank you. Only Underground is fantastic. Shane McMahon takes over and starts the Only Underground. The GCW Arena reports that they've been booked for a show on November 6th, and it might be an NXT show in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I like it. I also like that NXT has effectively stolen Sean's AEW advice when asked about how AEW would be stronger and different. Sean pitched like, oh, go to different arenas, go to cool, different venues. And then they end up at that venue at the factory in Chesterfield. And that was a great venue for them. I like the presentation. Not that like 2300 is such a different look, but it's pretty neat that when NXT leaves the house, they're at least going to venues that are closer to their size than a big arena. Chicago was different. They had CM Punk, and I think they realized pretty quickly we don't need to go to a huge arena to make our mark. So if they're going to 2,300, I think that's a pretty good place for them, especially in Philadelphia. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if this comes to fruition, it's a good deal. It seems like that might be a Wednesday night show as well, so probably going to get a lot of WWE talent on that show, main roster talent.
Cody in Philly.
Show.
Oh,
Cody in Philly. Yeah,
he's gonna bring Liberty with him and be like, "This is where I made history. I made Liberty happen," and that's how we're gonna find out she was conceived in Philadelphia.
It's after the election, so a lot of talent might not show up.
That's true. The night after, especially in Philly, which historically leans a certain way that some of the wrestlers from Florida don't.
Yeah. So
someone made a joke about Danny Palmer putting bags over people's heads in a Moxley style.
Where's GCW? Where's AEW running that night? What's the day?
The 6th of November. Remember the 6th of November.
All right, they're running Manchester, New Hampshire.
Not too far.
AEW. They show an invasion.
They should just drive a tank from
New Hampshire, Manchester. Let's see how far it is. New Hampshire or New. Why can't I?
New Hampshire.
Manchester.
It's a 7-hour drive. It's a 7
Manchester. It's a what?
7-hour drive.
Okay, they can do that. They can send talent there.
It's a long tank ride.
It's fine.
It's from Philly to New Hampshire. Yeah, they're running the same night. It's going to be a Wednesday night, so I assume they'll load it up like you said. But who knows? It'd be fun to see, because going head to head on a Wednesday means NXT will absolutely do something petty. It'll be like Shawn Michaels and Triple H do their head of the union or State of the Union live in the ring, and then out comes CM Punk. And
I don't feel like they'll do that, because like they'll definitely load it up to try to like cut into it a little bit, but I also think they're smart enough to recognize we're going to their night now, even though we were on Wednesdays first on WWE Network, but we're going to their night now. So I don't know if they want to use every single, bullet in the chamber that they have. And then, because like if you lose, then it looks bad. If you throw out CM Punk and Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, it's gonna look bad. Where if you just kind of use, here's Bianca and Jade, and like they're big stars, but they're presented at a level a little bit lower. Even Randy was on the St. Louis show. Like if you use those people, it doesn't look quite as bad, but it probably still takes away from AEW.
Randy, I was talking to someone about this, about like why did
I use basically the people they had on Tuesday against the title Tuesday, by the way.
No, and my point was like people talking about why Randy wasn't such a big draw when they did the St. Louis show, and I was like, well, Randy in St. Louis isn't Punk in Chicago. Like it's a different, like nobody cares about Randy Orton's hometown. It's just Randy Orton makes an appearance. CM Punk shows up in Chicago, the world is happy to see him in Chicago. So that's kind of where that was. I was just thinking about that earlier. Like, I don't know if there's anyone who can show up in Philly, like who's connected to Philly, that would make a big deal. Cody is a good example. Bully Ray would be great. Yeah, especially at ECW Arena. Let's go. It's just going to be that. It's going to be Bully Ray and the rest of the ECW originals. It's going to be the only Wrestlers Association launch at NXT.
Legitimately, like if they bring in like Van Dam and even like Sandman, Heyman, like if they bring in like some ECW nostalgia, people are going to go crazy for that. Whether it makes sense or not, like they're going to go crazy for it.
Yeah. I think they will too. They'll bring in RVD and the only Wrestlers Association. Oh man. Yeah. Have Bully Ray win the NXT championship. He beats Trick Williams for the heat. I'm looking forward to that show now. If they announce it and it's going to be at the ECW Arena, I guess they're moving to the Wednesday because the election night is the night before. So I guess they would be absolutely eaten alive if they ran on the 5th.
Yeah, they just decided, it ain't worth it.
Yeah, I could see that. I absolutely understand that. SmackDown is tonight. Not
Allegedly.
a ton announced. You got
Motor City.
Motor City. They're going to take on Los Garzas.
Allegedly.
The best of 7 culminates tonight. Carmelo Hayes takes on Andrade. I assume Carmelo Hayes gets the win and then gets the LA Knight match at Crown Jewel. Hooray. Yeah, right?
What do you think? Who wins?
I'm kind of the mindset that Carmelo wins. What does Andrade get from all this?
No. I'm with you. I think Carmelo wins.
And then do we then just do a triple threat for the US Championship?
I think they just go time limit draw.
TLD. Oh, that I don't hate that, but they haven't established a time limit for this match.
So who cares? Just establish it now.
Goes a full hour. If they announce a time limit, we'll be like, what the okay. Now they're doing it. But I don't know. I'm waiting to see a triple threat between these 3 with LA Knight included. But feels like the winner of this is gonna get the Crown Jewel US title match. Make it mellow. Go again. Do it one more time. Roman Reigns is scheduled. So is Randy Orton. I assume KO will be there to show the footage, or at least threaten to show the footage. Will Cody Rhodes be there tonight? Who knows? Boner City will be there though. They're gonna win a match. I feel bad for Los Garzas. Eventually, they're gonna have to do something too, right?
Nah, not really.
Fair, I get it. Oh man, and Maple Leaf Pro runs this weekend. Should probably take a look at that card. The cards,
yeah, it's 2 nights.
2 nights of this. They've got 2 nights of action. This Friday and Saturday.
No, Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday. See, this is how much I have paid attention to their work.
Wow.
Yeah.
All they do is like they make an announcement like every single day.
They do. Oh my god. Okay, I'm going by standout because their website does not have the actual. They have matches, but they don't have when is what.
Okay, I'll go to our website, Joel.
Oh, does our website have the matches laid out properly?
If people did their jobs correctly, yes.
Oh, that's a big ask, Jeremy Lambert. Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. God, there's so many of these. Okay, here's one that you wrote.
Okay, then it should be correct.
Yes, it is. Thank God. I hope. That's why I went for yours first. The Eliminator match for the AEW International Championship. This is night 1. Konosuke Takeshita versus Speedball Mike Bailey. They should put the X Division title on the line too. It should be title versus title. And then just
I watched TNA last night, Joel. I'm surprised you did not ask me about TNA.
I mean, listen, Speedball and Leon Slater had an excellent match. Crest and I broke it down. We had a solo TNA post show. You can check that out. But that is definitely one match that you want to watch for multiple reasons, including Leon Slater. He is absolutely next up in that X Division. And Speedball gave him everything, including the triple combo finish, to make it very well known that Slater is strong and deserves your attention. Your thoughts on that match?
I was ready to be quizzed extensively about this show.
Buddy, the episode wasn't very good. The two big takeaways were that Vikingo and Speedball are happening. Guess what? We talked about that already. And that Frankie Kazarian is now the special guest referee in the main event of Bound for Glory, which guess what? We talked about that happening. And now the only question is, why is this a thing? And then it turned out it's a big storyline beat. It's not that TNA doesn't know what they're doing, which, well, anyway.
You know what match I want to talk about?
What's that?
You know what match I want to talk about from this Maple Leaf Pro show? GCW legends Raj Desi and Bully Ray in a tables match.
Let's go.
This has the potential to be the greatest match of all time if they just do what they should do. And that's a bunch of nothing until somebody finally goes to a table. Just a bunch of bullshit. Don't actually try to give me a good match. Just give me a match that Raj Desi, Jinder Mahal, and Bully Ray would do in 2024. And it could be just amazing. Exceptional levels of bullshit. That's all I want.
I expect that. I expect Raj to have the Bollywood boys in tow. They will show up.
Sure.
And Bully will put them through a table, and then Raj will put Bully through a table and get the win. Look at us.
This could be just amazing.
They got a 6-man tag or a 6-man scramble. Josh Alexander. What is this? Is this right? Josh Alexander, Stu Grayson, ELP, Trevor Lee, Rocky Romero, Alex Zane. That is on the night one. That's just a 6-man tag.
Yeah, that's 6-man tag.
On the second night, they're running a different match. That's not on this listing because it was announced after this article went up.
Okay.
So anyway, Trevor Lee being on this card is good stuff. I like it.
I like Trevor Lee.
Yes. Giselle Shaw versus Miyu Yamashita. If Miyu wins, then she's added to the second night match of Giselle Shaw versus Athena for the ROH Women's World Championship. I don't foresee it happening. Actually, you know what? I do. I think Miyu wins, and then they're going to have Athena pin Miyu on night 2 as to protect Giselle Shaw from taking 2 L's in a row, or taking 1 L, you know what I mean? I think that's what's going to happen. Anything else that looks really interesting on this show? Obviously, Takeshita and Alexander is going to be a fun match for the International Championship, and Speedball versus ELP is another one that I'm looking forward to.
Should be a good show. Look forward to it. The interview with Scott D'Amore is about to premiere like right now, so
yeah,
really fun interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else from Friday that we need to cover for today? Or Thursday, whatever. This weekend upcoming. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
Commander earned an ROH television title shot that is not taking place at Battle of the Belts.
Again, it's Battle of the Belt this time around. The belt is so important, and the match for Okada is so important that it needs to be a singular battle for a belt.
They haven't even announced that match.
Spoiler alert, it's Kyle O'Reilly.
I like that Kyle.
No.
I like that Okada is like, no, bitch. And then like you just got to do the match anyway.
Of course, because Kyle O'Reilly won the significant amount of matches needed to prove the point that they deserved the title.
At least Kyle O'Reilly won. I got annoyed on Dynamite where these losers kept asking for rematches. Jericho's like, give me a rematch. And Private Party's like, give me a rematch. Yeah, you dorks, you lost. You don't get shit. You weren't the champions.
The other, maybe if Private Party had just started making fun of the Young Bucks' younger brother, then maybe they would have gotten a tag match.
Oh, do you think they could have done that? Like, who's the other brother? Jackson?
I think it was Malachi.
Malachi Jackson? Is this legit?
I think the brother's legitimate name is Malachi.
Hold on. Malachi. I didn't realize there was a third Jackson.
Yeah, there's a third one. The Massies have another brother.
Oh, Malachi Jackson. I spelled it Malachi like Malachi Black. It is not spelled like that.
No, I think it's with a C, isn't it?
It's Malachi.
Malachi, yeah. Malachi.
CK Jackson. And do you know what the CK stands for?
Calvin Klein?
Comedy Killer.
Comedy Killer.
He should come in and he should be CK Jackson. He's like, I'm going to kill all these comedy you guys keep doing. Maybe he's behind the Jon Moxley group.
That's perfect. That would be perfect. Well, that's how you get a title shot now.
So Private Party should have been like, anyway, your dork brother, Malachi Jackson, he sucks. He's so trash. He couldn't even make it in the wrestling business despite tagging with you guys all the time. And then the Jacksons are really upset about this.
And they say, you want your title match, you got it. And our brother Malachi will be the special guest referee. And then he costs his brothers the match and he aligns with the BCC and he is the higher power. We did it. And then the Bucks have to go after their brother in the BCC. And that's how we close the gap.
BCCK Jackson.
BCCK Jackson. The CK stood for Combat Club. CK wasn't the smartest. Club starts with the K, right? You bet, CK. You bet. Oh, we successfully did it. We've killed almost 2 hours on this show. It's
a good show. We learned about OnlyWrestlers.
Did we ever? We learned about grifters, more of them.
Oh boy, yeah.
And we even plotted out the Moxley World Order. I think we did pretty good actually today. Yeah. Great episode.
It was
pat on the back. Support yourselves, support your friends. Go watch SmackDown tonight or don't. Go watch Rampage tonight or don't. Go watch Collision and Battle of the Belts.
Rampage.
That's a show that's still happening on Friday
I
night.
don't believe
For now.
you.
For now. Go watch Collision and the Battle of the Singular Belts on Saturday or don't. MLP this weekend. Watch it or don't. I don't care what you do. We just know there's a lot of wrestling on, and we'll talk about some of it come Monday. Jeremy, anything you want to plug before we get on out of here?
No.
Wonderful. For Jeremy Lambert, I am Actual Pearl, JOELPEARL. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, grifters everywhere. We'll see you on Monday, 10 a.m. on this channel.
Look how upset they look.
They're all very annoyed with everything. They're unhappy people. Audio listeners, you got to see this shit. But we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.